Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup for the week of November 20th, 2020. It is Friday. It is, where's my date? It's September 18th, 2020. Here to our first story, and this is actually breaking news for all of us right now here, too. Figured this is a kind of a big one to cover, of course, with who it is. Joined via Discord by Kyle because we're in the midst of a pandemic still, and of course, everything is all kinds of crazy. So, this thing is a chonker. I mean,
yeah, it's a beast.
It's huge. Doing that we had the Resident Evil stuff, that they were successful with Castlevania. Welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. And it's the news time. I am joined, of course, by Kyle via Discord. Kyle, hello.
What's up?
Man. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. It is January 15th, 2021. Tonight, Lucasfilm Games, Lucasarts technically, is back. We've also got the RTX 3060 announced, and of course, we don't know if we're going to be able to find any, and we're going to be talking about a couple new games, or games we're kind of already aware of that were announced from Nintendo this week. Again, guys, it is January 15th, 2021, and of course, I am joined by Kyle from his new perspective here, off of his brand new computer. Kyle, hello. Oh, why am I not hearing you? You went quiet there for some reason. Are you muted?
Oh, am I muted?
There you go. Now I'm hearing you. Yeah, you were just like not there at all.
Here, let me adjust my microphone.
Okay, I can hear you now, and I can see the desktop audio waveform here moving around just fine. So, yeah, cool. Well, hello, sir. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
It's Friday. I'm done with work. I have my last Mountain Dew Kickstart in my hand right now, so I guess it's okay. How about you? How's the new computer holding up so far? Has it caught
so
fire
far,
yet?
so good.
Good.
I've been playing some Cyberpunk. Loving some of those glitches already.
Have you been playing it with ray tracing on? I assume you have.
I have. Oh, yeah. Ray tracing on Ultra, of course.
Ray tracing, Ultra, 4K, every single thing you can turn on?
1440.
1440. Are you running at a flat 60, or are you running higher than 60?
I haven't done a frame rate check on it. And then it runs super slick, though.
Lucky you. And then the last big question, of course, though, is what store did you download it from? Did you get it from Steam? Did you get it right from CDPR through GOG? Where'd you get it from?
Through Steam. I don't know what you got it through, but I noticed that it did link to my GOG account. So
yeah, because I have the version also through Steam, and some people were saying that some of the glitches might be store dependent. If you bought it through Steam, if you got it through GOG, if you got it through some other means, sometimes that ends up being reported as part of the problem that some people are experiencing. But I don't know. I'm not going to go pay another $60 to retest it to see if that could be the issue. But that's just me. So here we are to do the news. And tonight, of course, we're starting with our big story of the week. And that comes to us from IGN. Star Wars games to be branded under Lucasfilm Games banner. So guys, guess what? That means that LucasArts is technically back with this one in some cases. Star Wars games will now be brought together under a single banner, Lucasfilm Games. Announced today on StarWars.com, the company revealed that Lucasfilm Games is now the official identity for all gaming titles from Lucasfilm, a name that encompasses the company's rich catalog of video games and its eye toward the future. It marks a similar move to Xbox Game Studios and PlayStation Studios, both of which group multiple developers under a single banner. All future Star Wars games will see the new Lucasfilm Games banner displayed. There is a sizzle reel that they did put out that shows off some of the games that are currently active right now, at least, and available to most folks, which includes Fallen Order, Squadrons, Battlefront 2, Galaxy at Edge, or whatever the mobile game is, Old Republic. So there's a lot of that in there, and then the Lego Star Wars games. Lucasfilm Games now has also dedicated Twitter and Facebook pages, which will deliver breaking news and more directly to fans. No new games or teases were made as a part of the announcement. The name is actually a return for the Lucasfilm Games brand, which ran through the 80s and created the likes of Maniac Mansion, The Secret of Monkey Island, and more, until being rebranded as LucasArts in 1990. What Lucasfilm Games are on the way is a bigger question. Following Star Wars Squadrons, there aren't a lot of Star Wars games officially lined up, although Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is on its way, and as we know, Jedi Fallen Order is intended as the start of a new franchise. So, yeah, I was actually a bit surprised to see that Lucasfilm actually decided to go this route again to kind of bring back LucasArts, because it's been 7 or 8 years, if I looked at that properly, since they retired LucasArts. Like, they actually retired the name and then gave EA the exclusive license for making games. At least I think it's been that long.
I thought it was longer than that.
It's a good question. Let's see. LucasArts. I was just looking at this. Ceased operations April 3rd, 2013. So that was just after they got the rights to that was after they just bought Lucasfilm, after Disney bought it. So, wow. I mean, you're talking...
It was longer than that, wow.
8 years almost to 8 years for that for that studio line, whatever name you really want to call it there, was gone. And now, of course, we got it back, at least in this form. But of course, this was not the only thing that was talked about with that, though. So, Kyle, we're going to bridge right into our next story, which still carries on from the Lucasfilm Game stuff. And I'm going to let you talk about this one here from The Verge. And wrong one there. There we go. Ubisoft is making an open world Star Wars game. This one was definitely out of left field for sure. So what is going on with this game, Kyle?
The studio behind The Division is making a game set in a galaxy far, far away. According to a report from Wired, today Ubisoft announced that its Swedish studio, Massive Entertainment, is making an open-world video game that's set in the Star Wars universe. There is no details on what the game or when the game will launch, or on what platforms or what slice of the Star Wars universe it will explore. The game will be built using Ubisoft's own Snowdrop engine, which is best known as the tech behind the Division series. Earlier this week, Disney rebranded the game division to Lucasfilm Games for what it is described as a new era, since the company's announced not only Ubisoft's Star Wars game, but also an Indiana Jones title from Bethesda studio Machine Games. Previously, EA was the main developer behind blockbuster Star Wars titles, which resulted in games like Battlefront reboots and open-world adventures like Jedi Fallen Order, and last year's space combat game Squadrons. Disney says the relationship will continue even as other developers work on Star Wars games as well. We're proud of the games we have created with EA, Lucasfilm Games VP Douglas Riley says. We will continue working with them, and our relationship has never been stronger. While we may not have a lot of details to share at the moment, we've got a number of projects underway with the talented teams at EA. In a statement to The Verge, EA said, "We are proud of a long-standing collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, which will continue for years to come. Our talented teams have created some of the most successful games in the history of the Star Wars franchise, including Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and Star Wars Squadrons. We love Star Wars, and we look forward to creating more exciting experiences to play for players to enjoy."
So, a Ubisoft made Star Wars game, open world, using Division devs and the Division engine. That's I wonder, like, I'm kind of hoping in the grand scheme of open world, because they knocked it out of the park with The Mandalorian, that we get something more open world that kind of lines up with what The Mandalorian, kind of set up there. We don't need Jedi. We don't need the Sith. We don't need any of that. Just let us run around as bounty hunters. Let us run around as whatever, honestly. Let us kind of pick there, at least in the grand scheme of that open world. Or hell, flip it over onto the side of the Imperials instead and let us run around as Imperial soldiers or something, behind the scenes. We're taking things over or what have you. I don't know. What would you want to see, Kyle?
I don't know. I think it'd be fun to see an RPG like action game, but not so heavy on the RPG elements. So more of just an action game, but with some light RPG elements.
Okay, so maybe add in like the skill tree and progression that we did see in the Division,
Yeah.
but really emphasize more of the moving around and action and side missions and story missions and stuff. Okay.
I don't know. If you could make like a third-person Borderlands style game for Star Wars, that'd be, you know,
Hmm.
I think pretty cool.
That would be really cool. And I think though, if they did an open world game, I think they'd have to offer different planets to actually go to, because that's the kind of the bread and butter there behind Star Wars. Unless, I mean, there was that title that we were supposed to get. What was it? 1866 or 1886 or something. It was some sort of like underground.
About the bounty hunter, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was supposed to be like some sort of like underground seedy game that took place on Coruscant. I think that would be cool if that came back maybe in this fashion, because Coruscant has so much going on for it, just with how it's a city planet, just if you brought that same element back in and then made that open world and then offered basically the ability for anybody to kind of become anything in some way, that right there, I think would be a hit.
That'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'd pay money, like hardcore money for that. I don't pre-order games much anymore, but I would be a game I'd pre-order, like I think for sure. But I think that one's cool. And then the fact that even outside of all this, that they broke licensing, or they decided to go ahead and split the licensing up now, so EA doesn't have exclusive rights to it and go to Ubisoft, is smart. Because even though it's different devs, doing this stuff in the one company, it's still one company that's publishing it. It kind of helps to have that branching out and have other people actually, other companies providing their insight to it. And Ubisoft has got tons of open world games they've already made. I mean, they put out 2 just this last year. They've got the lineage for it. So I think anything they do put out should end up being pretty good, if not, for a few glitches here and there. But I think they've got it pretty well under control. So good on you guys to actually do that. Moving on, of course, to our next story here, and Kyle kind of already alluded to it. This one comes to us from Polygon. A new Indiana Jones game is on the way from Bethesda and Wolfenstein team. Again, they're branching out. They're going to someone else. Teaser suggests this is the first for the new Lucasfilm Games label. An Indiana Jones game made by Machine Games and executive produced by Todd Howard, is in development, according to a surprise teaser from Bethesda Softworks they tweeted Tuesday morning. The teaser is light on details, such as a launch date or window or platforms, but there's no mistaking this is an Indiana Jones game. This year, Lucasfilm will celebrate the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark's premiere. A follow-up tweet from Bethesda said Todd Howard, creative director of Bethesda Game Studios, would serve as executive producer for the untitled game. It will feature an original story and isn't an adaptation of an earlier one. Despite the film series' popularity, Indiana Jones video games have been hard to come by outside of their LEGO adaptations by Traveler's Tales. The most recent was 2009's Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings for the Wii and PlayStation 2, with versions for the Nintendo DS and PSP. The game had been planned for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and development was said to be at a fairly advanced stage in 2008 when LucasArts abruptly canceled the project for those platforms. And then it goes on to the rest of the stuff here. But that's a cool one, especially on its own, that, now we're branching out even further. It's not just Star Wars games that are getting made now. Now we're getting back to these other properties that Lucasfilm has in its vault, and that includes Indiana Jones. And it's exactly right. It's like, we haven't seen an Indiana Jones game since the Lego one's been coming out. On top of that, you've had the successes with the reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise, with how Uncharted's done. I think that, since those really drew inspiration from Indiana Jones, it makes sense to see something new come along.
Just hope it's not too late.
In what regard? Like, you think that maybe those other 2 franchises might have kind of stolen some thunder
Stole
away?
The thunder.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a
I
possibility.
it is very possible. I agree with you there. I just
So,
I don't know. I mean, I think
and it really, you think about it,
hmm,
Indiana Jones game, because of those games, has pretty big shoes to fill, in my opinion.
I would think so, but I guess the bigger selling point of it though is like of course is that the time periods are going to be very different. Is that Indiana Jones is set there at like the somewhere around like the World War II, late World War II points in time. I mean, he's punching Nazis, you know, and that
Yeah.
can't be more relevant to now. So why not just throw us back out there to have a game where you're punching Nazis that's not Wolfenstein? But hey, that's the funny part is because Bethesda, you know, Wolfenstein, it all kind of goes hand in hand. So I don't know. I guess Bethesda's become the Nazi punching game company. So
I do think it was kind of cool that Todd Howard has had stuff from the Indiana Jones games in the background of his Zoom calls for months now.
he took a page out of Phil Spencer's
He most
out
certainly
of
did.
his playbook. Yeah.
He's actually had an Ark of the Covenant sitting on the top shelf above him in all of his
Mhm.
videos, and the idol from Temple of Doom sitting on the shelf below it
And that yeah.
for months and months and months now.
Well, I mean, you think it's like people look around. It's like there's sometimes no expectation for what those things are anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just
I
that's
just
very
think it's
true.
so funny that it's been all right there the entire time.
I think it's pretty
It-
cool.
So
Good on that. Good on him. I think for including something like that. But
absolutely.
yeah, at least it is something that's coming, and it is with Bethesda. But it does ask the. There is one question to ask on this one that isn't answered anyway, and it probably won't be answered till probably next year. Bethesda, ZeniMax, and of course Bethesda, and that are all owned by Microsoft now. Is this going to
Hmm.
be a Xbox exclusive?
Yeah, and what kind of engine is it going to run?
That's
Being a
true.
Bethesda game.
Yeah, I mean, if it
I
uses
know it's
the
a machine. It's a machine games game
hmm
as well, but it kind of makes you wonder what kind of engine is this game going to be running? What are we going to be seeing come out of it? So
well,
I
what
don't know.
else is
There's a lot up in the air still.
yeah, and Machine Games is really put most of their all their stuff is just focused on Wolfenstein, and then they did Quake back in 2016 as well too. So it may not necessarily be the worst thing though. Um, I seriously don't think it's going to be that bad because the engine for Wolfenstein is not terrible. Just refreshes for everything that come down the line anyway with technology enhancements. It's I think it'll be just fine. I think it'll end up actually looking like a really good game. Unless they decide to develop all new tech for it, and then that new tech is what they use to like the next Wolfenstein as well. Who knows? Ray tracing.
Hard to say.
That's the one thing we know. Ray tracing on everything.
Ray tracing.
But yeah, we want that. We want that bullwhip and that brown hat of his ray traced. Okay, see the
Oh,
light
Jesus
reflecting
Christ.
off the crack of the whip. Anyway, so with that out of the way, that's all the LucasArts, or excuse me, Lucasfilm Games stuff to talk about there. Now, moving on to a story that Kyle doesn't necessarily have to worry about here, although he's going to talk to us about it, is an announcement. Of course, CES was this last week, I believe continuing on through this weekend as well. And of course, one of the announcements here that brought a bunch of eye rolls, though, is from NVIDIA. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 offers ray tracing for $329. So, Kyle, you just bought yourself a 3090, so you're not going to have to worry about any of this, but you can at least worry about telling us about this new
Yeah,
card that
and
we're probably never going to see.
so that does come at the caveat though that if you can find one when it arrives in February.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, NVIDIA clearly doesn't think its Ampere-based GPUs are accessible enough. The company has unveiled the RTX 3060, a more affordable alternative to the 3060 Ti that even leapfrogs higher-end counterparts in a few areas. It doesn't offer as much raw compute power as the Ti, with 13 shader teraflops versus 16.2, and just 25 ray tracing teraflops versus about 39.7. But it also comes with 12 gigabytes of GDR6 memory, That's more than 10 gigs in the RTX 3080, let alone the 8 gigs of the 3060 Ti. If what you're doing depends on more on the memory, it's worth considering. You should still whoa, my mouse is going nuts. You should still get all the benefits of the RTX 30 boards, including the improved ray tracing performance and DLSS. However, the first NVIDIA GPU to support resizable bar technology that lets the GPU directly access the card's memory, much like AMD's Radeon RX 6000 series. You'll get a slight speed boost with the right hardware, in this case, the right motherboard. Cards will be available from a variety of partners in late February, starting at $329. That's not a huge advantage over the $399 of the Ti, but might help if you're just looking for the most affordable Ampere card you can buy. It'll certainly outperform the aging Radeon RX 5700 cards, and in its price class, the bigger challenge may be to find one in stock. Crypto miners and others have already created storage for RTX 30 series cards, and it may not get any easier with the 3060.
And of course, they had to go call me out on that because I have an RX 5700 XT. So,
Huh?
ouch.
What?
I bought that. I mean, like, literally, that card launched last year, and I bought
Yeah,
it last year. So it's like, damn it. It's the fact of technology. Okay, so we got two new RTX graphics cards, 3060 and the 3060 Ti. You're talking difference in price of, what is that, $70 right there? And
Yeah.
let me see, what's the spec difference on the 3060 Ti here? Because this was the other one I needed to see here as well. Yeah, $400. Let's see, what's it comparable to? Says it's not great for 4K. Tell you that.
Didn't think it would be.
Yeah, it looks like
It could probably do 1440 just fine though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see here. I'm just trying to see if it actually has better comparisons. Let's see. I'm just looking through this other story here.
I think baseline, if you have that card without the motherboard, and that's going to be able to access the or let the processor and the video card communicate and use each other's power a little bit more accessibly, like the new Radeon cards have, then you're screwed and it's pointless. And actually, those cards or those motherboards are going to be more expensive anyway. And right now, you've got the increased tariffs, so that affects it as well.
Yeah, because we talked about the tariffs this last week in the news there, and of course you're talking about a 7.5% markup. So that MSRP of $329 and then $399 may not be representative of the tariffs anyway in the first place. So that's a very good point to bring up. So not only are you talking shortages, you're talking an increase in costs as well. But if you're looking for a graphics card, if the stock ends up holding up, if they've gotten their shit together and they've got the stock well put together and are able to defeat the scalpers and the bots and all that other crap, then for $329 to get yourself a 3060 and pair it up with a Ryzen 5 or something, even a last gen Ryzen 5, if you don't get that, if you don't use that same technology there for the memory access, for the CPU and the GPU and the shared memory there, it's whatever. But you'll still at least have a solid machine for under $1,000, barring any other crazy costs you want to throw yourself out there. But it's another good card for the competition itself, though, and it's going to be a interesting one to see in the fight between them and AMD, because I think AMD has got let's see, they've got the 6800 XT and then the 6900 XT that they've announced. I wouldn't be surprised to see us kind of going back a little bit and see something like a 6700 XT or a 6700 to compete with this.
Yeah,
at least at some point.
I think that the people that are really going to have the advantage, or that are going to really be able to take advantage of this card, besides the crypto miners, are people that are building new computers. They're going to have to be getting those new boards anyway, and those new processors that are going to be able to have that access and whatnot. Aside from that, I think this is probably going to benefit people that are buying pre-builds a lot too.
That's a big one as well, because then it reduces your cost for getting a pre-built anyway, but you still get the power. You still get the ray tracing benefits. But as it's been said so far, is that 4K output is probably not going to be in your really up your alley for doing something like this. You're going to need to look at 3070 and above, or even go with a RX 6800, 6800 XT, or 6900 XT, something like that. So that's kind of where things sit. And I don't blame that part. That's understandable. But yeah, I think overall for the cost, though, yeah, it's kind of a given. So anyway, so now out of that fun, of course, we took a lull on it, but Cyberpunk is back in the news, as it has been. And this time, though, it's actually a apology of sorts from CD Projekt Red itself. So as reported on by Ars Technica, CD Projekt Red CEO blames in-game streaming for Cyberpunk's console problems. Native next-gen versions pushed back to second half of 2021 amid patching work. So, fun stuff here. CD Projekt Red is still trying to contain the damage from widespread reports of major technical problems in the versions of Cyberpunk 2077 released for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One last month. To that end, studio co-founder and CEO Marcin Iwinski today tweeted a video message seeking to explain the internal situation leading up to the problematic launch. Despite good reviews on PC, the console version of Cyberpunk 2077 did not meet the quality standards we wanted it to meet, Iwinski said in the message. I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this, and this video is me publicly owning up to that. The core of the problem, Iwinski said, was the in-game streaming system that Cyberpunk 2077 used to feed content and game mechanics to the engine without frequent breaks for loading. That system had to be constantly improved for last-gen consoles during development, Iwinski said, in order to keep up with the epic look for the PC version, which saw its graphics and other assets scaled down to work on more limited, older console hardware. Things did not look super difficult at first, but I think that time has proven we underestimated the task. Because the city is so packed and the disk bandwidth of old-gen consoles is what it is, it constantly challenged us. Iwinski was less direct about why these problems with the console versions weren't discovered and either fixed or delayed before launch. Every change and improvement needed to be tested, and as it turned out, our testing did not show a big part of these issues you experienced while playing the game, Iwinski said. He added that communication problems caused by the team working from home amid COVID-related restrictions meant some issues got lost over video calls or emails. We saw significant improvements each day and every day leading up to release and really thought we'd deliver in the day zero version on consoles, he said. Iwinski said these late in development improvements and constant testing on consoles were the reason review code for the console versions of the game was not offered to reviewers alongside PC code in early December. When Iwinski said console code was sent out December 8th, later than originally planned, Ars Technica was not provided with any console version to test with before the game's launch on December 10th, much less ahead of the initial PC review embargo on December 7th. So it goes on. A little bit more here kind of talking about that. And then as a part of the tweet as well from CD Projekt Red here, let me get to it here. So they did provide this. I'm sharing this here on my screen, Kyle, but they did share kind of a roadmap as to where things are at right now, going from the beginning of 2021 here through the rest of this year into the beginning of next year. So we are on the onset of patch 1.1 dropping sometime in the next week and a half. They said 10 days, of course, from the, or at least sometime in the next 10 days from when this tweet came out, which was the 13th. Of course, it's the 15th now, so we got 8 more days. So probably next Friday, next Saturday, we'll see it. Patch 1.2 will be sometime in February, and then we've got DLC at some point this year, I guess. And then because, like I said in the article there, because they're working on patching, we won't be seeing anything for next gen until later this year into early next year. So yeah, the video's kind of a good one to watch. It's okay. I mean, it's nothing really to it's really nothing to write home about, though, unless you're genuinely curious about kind of what's going on. But I think in the end, it's whatever. It's obviously something that had to come out from them. It's something that had to be said. But until we actually see tangible proof that things are being fixed, I take everything they say with a grain of salt right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's it's like the people who are showing the glitch lately where people are coming in, like where NPCs are coming into their apartment and T-posing in the middle to assert their dominance or something. It's like that's kind of where it feels like, it's like walking in and it's the CEO of BP coming in with a T-pose looking at you and then saying, "We're sorry." It's kind of how it feels to me.
I just started the game, and so I don't know if the mission structure is terribly different depending on what your path is, but I chose Street Kid, and
Same.
I went on that first mission with Jackie to go rescue that girl, right? Well, I
Yeah.
dropped her off, and I don't know if it did it for you, but he had his finger up in the air like he still had his gun out, and it was on his hip, and turned around after his arm glitched out. It's not very common, I guess, for his arm to glitch out, but it did on my screen. And then he walked through a stack of papers that like exploded, walked through the side of a locker, and walked out the front of it. And it was such a serious scene, and it like I was so into it.
And it
And
threw
I
you off
just
when you saw
lost
that. Huh?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost it. Like I busted up laughing. I had to stop the game. I
Well-
was like, "Oh my god, this is hilarious."
Well, after you save the girl and the medical insurance team, whatever they are, they come and pick her up and you're leaving. Right there at that elevator is where I experienced my first glitch when Jackie goes to hit the elevator button. The elevator is not there technically for us yet. He walks through the door and then the door opens for me to be able to let me get in the elevator. And then the most recent glitch I had was it's a mission you'll have later on. It's another character named Panem, and when I was working with her, we had to take her vehicle underground to go fight these other guys. And as we were going there, I elected just to be in the passenger seat instead of driving. So I went in the passenger seat. We went underground. I died. And so when we came back in, and it was that way ever since. I'm past that point now, but it's been that way ever since. Is the even though I was a passenger, it put me in the driver's seat. So our character models merged together. So like I'm sitting in the driver's seat and she's the one actually driving, and just you see her hair just like right in front of your face, just moving
Oh
around.
my
You're
God.
looking around. You can't see your body over there in the other one. You can look down and see kind of part of her. It's just like, what the fuck? This is
That's
not exactly how I
insane.
expected to glitch. I've had a few others, but I think that one's probably the most memorable one right now. And then Jackie, of course, walking through the elevator doors, just whatever.
Actually kind of enjoy the
But-
whole glitching thing. I don't know. I think it's part of the appeal right now of the game.
The only one that gets to me is that I can't park a vehicle properly in the parking lot next to the Brain Dance Club. I can't park a vehicle there properly. Like I would take a motorcycle in, and I would like stutter trying to go into a parking spot. Like I'd be gunning it, down the street,
jeez.
no problem. But as soon as I go into a parking spot, it was like that. But I think it's because there's something in the environment there that's like blocking it off that says, okay, when it goes nighttime and the club opens, cars are going to spawn there.
Huh.
And so it's like it's blocking me in advance of doing anything, but whatever. Anyway, Cyberpunk, broken.
Yeah.
They're going to fix it. They're going to do something. Moving on here. This was not necessarily another story, but it's talking more about fun in the world of Nintendo, because Nintendo likes to shadow drop stuff on us, all the time. So we got two videos here to take a look at. Kyle, I'm sure you got the links to those up on your side, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, of course, we already knew that this was going to be coming out down the line, but we actually now have our first trailer for actually showing gameplay of Pokemon Snap for the Nintendo Switch. And I got to say, I'm actually very excited to play this one. It's been well over 20 years since we've had a Pokemon Snap game. The very first one that came out was on the Nintendo 64. After that, it made its way to the Wii Virtual Channel, and then it also made its way to, I think, the Wii U Virtual Channel. It's all the same platform, really. But now we have a new entry into the series, and it looks like it's going to follow the same motif, that you're on rails taking pictures. And it just looks really good.
I think it looks pretty good too. I do kind of, I don't know. They've got all this stuff this year for the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Pokemon Snap is part of that. But what would be really cool is, I mean, it's an internet connected system. What if they just cycled a few, at least for their fiscal year, cycled a few different like areas? Like, you get the game, but then we're also going to give you this area later in the year. Since you bought it the first year, we're also going to give you this area, you know, just to celebrate the 25th.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. Because supposedly there's a rumor going around even with this. Yeah, it drops April 30th. Pre-orders started yesterday, so there's that.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. But one of the other things before I go on here, actually, to our next video, is supposedly someone was able to discover it. I don't know exactly where they looked at in that, but it looks like Diamond and Pearl are coming up next as the next Pokemon re-releases, and will be making their way to Switch. These will not be going to 3DS. These will be going to Switch. So anybody who really enjoyed Diamond and Pearl and whatever the third game of the Diamond and Pearl series was, I can't remember what it was, that will be making its way probably to Switch here as a part of the 25th anniversary as well. And of course, because we're in anniversary years as well, it's still the 35th anniversary of Mario, which started late last year. And of course, with that, we have Super Mario 3D World making its way to the Switch, is making its way back to the Switch, right? Because did 3D World come out for... No, 3D World came out for the 3DS, didn't it? Like, originally.
Yeah, 3D World was on the 3DS and on the Wii U.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, I need you to keep me honest here, Kyle. So...
yeah. No, it's a ton of fun. I love this one. Yeah. I'm super excited for it.
This one looks really cool. The whole cat thing was just kind of whatever to me. It's like, okay, another Mario power-up, but it's about halfway to 3/4 of the way through this trailer where it really throws me off, especially with I guess I'll just say it right now, Super Saiyan Kitty Mario.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool. Yeah, the whole Bowser's Fury.
Yeah.
Expanded gameplay on it. You'll be able to go to I can't remember the name of the cat island, but yeah, you have, it looks like Bowser Jr. is an ally, and you have to collect the cat coins, and then eventually you get to fight Bowser at some point in some of the levels or something, or at least in one of them.
Yeah,
I imagine it'll be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, there's something with Bowser Jr. here, though, too, where Bowser Jr. is carrying around like a magical paintbrush of some type. I think somewhere in here it actually shows using it to manipulate something on a wall. So I don't know if...
Yeah, like the Super Mario Sunshine, or the Mario Sunshine, I should say.
Exactly. So I bet you this is going to have that level of co-op where it's not just going to be... your standard co-op characters like Peach or Toad. You know, it's going to probably end up including... right off the bat, Bowser Jr. But yeah, this is the part right here. I didn't know that Nintendo would go and pay for I know this isn't them, but pay for Nightwish to make a song for this, because it really has like Nightwish type vibes.
Totally
to it.
Does. It totally does.
Turn this up here, but well, there it goes. The hell? That was a weird glitch. But yeah, but this has
it's gonna be great.
I really hope that you fight multiple times and this isn't like the final battle, though.
Oh, I'm sure it's not. That's probably a very beginning of the expansion,
that would be cool if this was
the whole new game. I don't know what it's gonna be. That's probably gonna be the very first
Super
fight.
Saiyan Kitty Mario. You can't say that's not Super Saiyan Kitty Mario.
Oh no, it totally is.
Oh, God. So, yeah, February 12th, next month, actually, guys. We got less than a month to go for this game to come out here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I just had to make sure I was selecting the right one here.
Of course, I love a lot of the 3D Mario games.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm excited about that. I think that one looks really cool. I wouldn't be surprised if my oldest child ends up picking that one up for sure, and if anything, I'll just end up playing it then. But it looks really fun. I mean, it's great to see another Mario platformer, making its way to the Switch. I guess the biggest part of it, though, is that I'm sure, like part of me is kind of wondering what was going to happen next after Odyssey, You know, were we going to see an Odyssey 2? Were we going to see, something else in the Odyssey line where we're going to see Cappy
Right.
still stick around? You know, that hat mechanic, but it looks like that's not the case, at least for the short term. We're gonna have Kitty Mario for a while, but you at least get Bowser Jr. as a partner. So really, really cool looking stuff. Not gonna lie on any of that whatsoever. Um, but you're gonna pick. Are you gonna get both those games? Are you gonna get Snap and uh, Mario 3D World?
I'm for sure getting 3D World. I'm on the fence about Snap.
Okay.
Just because lately the Pokemon games for me, like I like them and all, but I don't ever seem to finish them anymore. So I don't know. I might pick it up, but for sure I'm gonna pick up the Mario.
Well, if Pokemon Snap keeps about the same time frame of play, you know, like doing like a one-time playthrough in that like the original Pokemon Snap did, then you know it may not be so bad to put the time into it. If they continue to expand it though, like you were talking about, like, you know, new worlds, new areas, new stuff, you know, maybe even throwbacks to the original one, that would be, you know, I think that'd be a good selling point for it.
Yeah,
uh
and that's just my
yeah.
speculation. That it would be really cool just because it is the 25th anniversary for Pokemon.
Hmm.
But then again, like I said, they are releasing Pokemon Snap as part of that, so I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. I'll make sure to pick it up with the kids and play it, and I'll fill you in when
I'll
it
probably
comes
end up
time.
picking it up anyway. I know. Who am I kidding, right?
I rolled my eyes for you. I just had to do it, of course. So moving on here, of course, into our next story, and I know this, talking with a few other people, that this kind of disappointed them a bit, but COVID-19 is still a bitch and it's still sticking around right now. So Kyle's going to talk to us about this one here from Collider. Death Eaters win as Harry Potter RPG Hogwarts Legacy release date delayed.
So chalk this one up as a win for the Death Eaters. The Harry Potter game Hogwarts Legacy, originally due out this year from Portkey Games and Warner Brothers, will now arrive sometime in 2022. That's a bummer. The RPG, firmly set within the Wizarding world, was one of our most anticipated games of the year. Now it's looking like it'll be a most anticipated title of next year instead. It's not super surprising that this title is getting delayed. Call it the COVID effect, the Cyberpunk 2077 effect, whatever you want. The reality is that times are tough and customers are tougher, especially when a game doesn't live up to its own hype. The Hogwarts Legacy folks are wisely tamping down expectations at this point by not saying much now and waiting to say more later. Stay tuned for more as we hear it. Um,
These
then
are some older quotes here at this part, and
yeah,
then yeah, there's really nothing that really hasn't been said, because the tweet here at the bottom is just a screenshot from in the game with them saying that it's like, okay, it's going to take a while, it'll be here in, you know, 2022. So but I this was one I was very curious about to see how it was going to work out, because it's set in the 1800s, whereas, like, you know, the Harry Potter games or the Harry Potter movies, um I guess, are supposedly set, well, I'm trying to remember, because they talked about a lot of the time frame stuff there, and it seemed like they were set even not necessarily farther back or anything, but I know that, like, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is set in the 1930s and 40s. So this, of course, takes place beforehand. So I was kind of curious to see exactly how they were gonna, how things were gonna look in this game, especially for the time period itself and where everything sat in the Harry Potter universe when it came to this. But it being an RPG, was wondering just how much time I was going to actually have to be able to sink into something like this. I mean, yeah, I assume
right.
you read Harry Potter back in the day, and you know,
Oh yeah,
was this
what
a
kid
game?
didn't,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You know, it was like, if you didn't read it, it's like, what's wrong with you? So what do you think? Is this going to be one that you're gonna try to check out when it comes out in 2022 now, or are you really not on the RPG train, like, or at least the MMO train?
I'm not super into the whole Harry Potter thing now as much anymore. I mean, the movies were cool and everything, but I'm not like super into the lore like some people are. I'll probably pick it up just for fun, but I won't sink a ton of time into it.
That
I'm not like chomping at the bit for the game.
no,
That
me
being
either.
said, so
I'm the same way. It's not one that it's another time sink is what it comes down to be. It's something to check out, but if it is something that
yeah,
requires me sinking 30 to 60 hours to really get um out of it, or if it is an MMO and does follow that path where it's going to be something that constantly carries on, then I don't know. It's probably just not going to end up sticking around for long. So
oh,
I'll
even with
just wait.
MMOs, it's difficult because like I feel like if you don't start it and stick with it, you get left behind by everyone you're partying with. You know.
Oh, okay. That's exactly it. Yeah, because it's like maybe I'll go check out World of Warcraft, and then everybody I know that plays World of Warcraft is so far ahead that it's like, why waste time with someone like me? So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and on to our last story, of course. And this is, of course, for the people who have the stupid, crazy money to spend. So, Kyle, I am digitally looking at you here, of course, on this one, because I'm sure this is going to be
No,
purchased by you. Are you
no,
sure? Are you sure? Because this really seems to fit into your
this is
MO as of late.
retarded.
Okay. So, again, of
And
course.
I dislike Razer products anyway, so
So, of course, because it is CES and we've got a lot of things being shown off, Razer is not one to shy away from any of their concept stuff whatsoever. And I figured this was a good one to end the week's news on. From PCMag.com, I'll zoom in here a little bit on this one. Razer's Project Brooklyn is a futuristic gaming chair with a giant rollable display. Yeah, you heard that right, giant rollable display. Need a fully immersive gaming experience? Check out Razer's Concept Gaming Chair, which sports a 60-inch display that curves around your face. The prototype is called Project Brooklyn and is designed to offer a cockpit-style gaming experience. As you can see, the concept takes the curved gaming display to the max by using a rollable OLED panel to create a 180-degree field of view. But what makes the chair really futuristic is how it can deploy and retract the OLED panel into the seat's backbone with a simple press of a button. The OLED panel will literally roll back into a scroll. The mounted stand will then recede into the seat's spine. Another feature is the chair's armrests. They come with a collapsible table on which you can place a keyboard and mouse. If you prefer to use a gaming controller, you can fold the table back into the armrest. To create more immersion, the chair also comes with haptic feedback, so expect the seat to vibrate if your game character jumps into water or lands from a long fall. The cords for the display run through the chair's back, paving way for easy cabling to your PC. In addition, the seat comes with, and this is not a shock, customizable RGB lighting on the exterior of the leather seat cushions. The project builds off the company's first gaming chair, a $499 product called the Razer Isker, which debuted in October. However, that chair comes with no display. Razer didn't say how much Project Brooklyn would cost, but expect it to be insanely expensive. LG's own rollable display, a 65-inch OLED panel, launched last year for $87,000. For now, Razer says it'll continue developing the gaming chair as a concept device. The plan is to test it with a top esports player and influencers. So expect Project Brooklyn to pop up on social media. Yeah, that's why I said it's like stupid, crazy money
no.
if you could afford it, But I honestly don't expect you to buy anything like that, Kyle. It's just that after all the money you've spent so far on this, it's like, let's just up the ante and just go right for the chair that has a screen that rolls around your face.
Yeah, if I up the ante anymore, it'll be for a new processor. Just because I wanted to get a little bit better AMD processor and a new monitor. That'd be the only two things I would change right now.
All right, fair enough. Well, did you see, though, the other Razer concept that came out that really ties in with the events of this last year?
Oh yeah,
The
oh
mask?
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll bring this up here really quick if I can
It
find that.
it
Let's see.
actually has a voice amplification device built into it. Um, of course, you can see the wearer's mouth for people that are deaf or hard of hearing that might be able to read lips, and you get the subtlety of unicorn poop all over your face.
Yeah, so the mask itself I got pulled up here directly from Razer's website called Project Hazel, and it's called the world's smartest mask. So we could talk about it here a little bit. So it's a God, I'm getting advertisements. I'm about to talk about it, and the stupid 10% off coupon pops right up on the goddamn screen. So it's got a surgical N95 respirator built into it. In addition to its high bacterial filtration efficiency, the mask also has a high fluid resistance, which protects against large droplets and splashes. It's got active ventilation, where the smart mask's detachable ventilator regulates airflow and is capable of filtering at least 95% of airborne particles. And it's got an auto sterilization function where Project Hazel comes with a special charging case lined with a UV light interior which kills bacteria and viruses as the mask charges. So, of course, for the social side, it's got a clear, transparent design, which you can see on the model here, so you can see their face. The interior lights up automatically when it's dark, allowing you to clearly express yourself regardless of the lighting conditions. And it's got voice amp technology thanks to a built-in mic and amplifier combo. So it says it's sustainable, it says it's comfortable, and of course it's personalized, because what would a Razer product be without Razer Chroma all scattered through the son of a bitch? Or excuse me.
You gotta have that unicorn poop on your face.
You really do. Honestly,
but here's the thing: none of these pictures are realistic. Let's be real; those people aren't breathing. If they were breathing, it may be a respirator, but it's not a dehumidifier. That plastic panel would fog up like crazy.
Hold your breath while we take the picture.
Yeah,
I get you. Plus, the other part too is like the white one here. Okay, it comes in a white one. Imagine though, like you're a person like me at work. Okay, our requirement now is that masks have to be worn everywhere, even when you're sitting in at your desk. So unless you have your own office, which that's managers and executives. So for me to eat lunch at my desk, I have to pull my mask down, I have to eat, and then I have to put the thing back up. So imagine I make a mistake and I forget to clean part of my face off or whatever, and I bring my mask back up. That white mask is going to be stained as hell, especially for whatever I might eat at lunch. So I might go to like clean the thing, and it's going to get rid of viruses and bacteria in there, but it's going to have a nice red stain from the meatball sub that I brought from Subway, right across the nose part from when I dragged it up to put it right on my face, because I did a terrible job of cleaning myself up. So I would stick with solid black on this one, but I don't know.
Do you really need RGB on a face mask?
I want to get one of the masks that actually detects it when your mouth is moving, like based on what how you're talking. It's a mask that you're supposed to wear like over your other one, because it's one you can't really wash because of the electronics inside. But yeah, as you talk, it has LEDs on it that simulate a mouth, so it will move up and down as you talk. So if you laugh, it'll detect the laugh and it'll turn into like a smile, laughing, and that. And it's a neat little thing.
That's pretty cool.
This, on the other hand, though, makes me think that it's like Cyberpunk meets Mad Max on here.
Right?
Yeah. It's just it's crazy. And
Razer, they've lost their goddamn minds.
Yeah, and of course, Alex hits us here at the very end of the stream here with a link here. Read a while ago they came up with a gaming bed in Japan. So this is funny. I'll grab this link here. Let's take a look at this, Alex, and see what we got here. So Alex dropped this one here from The Verge, and this was from March of last year. I remember seeing this, Kyle. Let me get to the right thing here. I'm gonna drop this to you in Discord really quick. I remember seeing.
I just clicked on it in the chat.
Did you? Okay, I wasn't sure if you had seen it there or not. All right. Yeah, I like. This isn't necessarily a gaming bed. What I see this as more than anything else is that someone literally took a bed and then smashed every desk possible and every side table into it, just right into it. That's it. There's really nothing
this is
else.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You should look up the scorpion chair.
Well, isn't that the same concept? Let's see, scorpion chair. No. Oh,
it has,
that's right.
Yeah, the tail is supposed to be basically monitors that hang in front of your face. Yeah.
Yeah, this one terrifies me, because what if my kid is like hiding behind the chair to come and surprise me, and I roll this chair up, because like, oh, I'm done here, the computer and that, and this slices my kid open. Like, this would tear them apart if they were there behind the thing.
I just can't imagine it's all that comfortable to sit in because I
No.
mean, regardless, even if you're sitting, you're basically laying down, and then there's the laying down position. Um, I don't know, and mechanically, there's so much to it. It's got to be so expensive.
Oh yeah, probably, especially if something in there does break, and that's why that Razer chair does concern me because that
Yeah,
rollable, the LED rollable screen tech is still so new anyway. I mean, look at the crap that Samsung went through with the first gen Galaxy Fold, and it's all falls into the same category of foldable, rollable. It's all really like right there.
rollables even anything past proof of concept right at the moment.
Yeah, like they said there, like LG is actually selling
Oh,
a rollable
I guess
one for, like
yeah,
60, $70,000. That's overkill. I think what
yeah,
I'd much rather have instead, it exists. The tech is out there. It's still cost prohibitive anyway. I'd much rather have the transparent LED panel instead. I'd much rather have the screen in front of me right now, my 27-inch gaming monitor here that I'm looking at. I'd much rather have that transparent instead. Don't roll it up.
yeah.
Make it a firm piece of glass or plastic, whatever it is. Give it the exact same quality I got here, but make it transparent. So that way, like if my kid's doing something behind the monitor and they're trying to show me, they don't have to come around and do anything, especially if I'm doing work. I can see them, or be able to look through it, and check things out. And, nobody's the wiser on any of it too. It's just, it would be, I think, a little neater looking than,
Wouldn't it be cool if it was a diffusable panel? Like there was like just a switch you could flip on it and it would make it slightly darker. Like,
that would be sick.
yeah.
All right.
And then if you needed to see through your monitor, you just flip that lever and it would cut the diffusing off.
Well, anybody
You know?
who's an electrochemical
Cool.
engineer who has a specialty with LED panels, please get on that right now, okay? Because we need that like tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be super
If you
cool.
need someone to alpha,
Basically like those windows, but with a monitor.
I would just replace my windows in the house with just screens instead. Just, you
Oh,
want to see
that'd be so
outside?
cool.
Yeah, you just want to see outside? Oh, outside's all dismal because they're still on the ground. Guess what? I'm going to make it look like it's a beach outside. Zhunk.
Yeah.
Just change everything to an ocean scene or something outside. But anyway, enough about fantasizing on the tech there. But that is it for this week's news. I think the only thing, of course, if you guys want to see it, IGN actually has photos up now from the new Mortal Kombat movie that's supposed to be coming out here soon. That movie is in post-production, so if you want to go check out what Liu Kang, what Sub-Zero, what Scorpion, Kung Lao, Jax, Sonya, Kano, they got all those pictures up over there now. It's not necessarily like a lot, but at least gives you a good idea of the way the movie's going to look. And if you got it in your head that it's going to look like the Mortal Kombat movies we grew up with as kids back in the 90s, they're not like that. Doesn't look like it one bit. So that makes me a little bit happier that, of course, we're not going to get a repeat of Annihilation. So we're good there. But with that part shared as well, Kyle, as always, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you got your new camera. I'm glad you got your new computer set up. Welcome back to the PC Master Race. Truly
Absolutely.
glad to be back.
It's good to be back.
Welcome back to the club. And of course, to all of you out there, I'm talking to you specifically. You know who you are. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's video game news roundup. Of course, we got podcasts coming up all over the place. We're back to our normal 2 a week of the What Are You Playing in our topic episode. This next week, of course, for our topic, we're going to be talking, I think, about like stupidest or dumbest video game bosses out there. I got to go back and look at what we've got scheduled. So be on the lookout for that episode as well. And of course, yeah, we got news next week as well. So who knows what's going to change? Maybe Cyberpunk 2077 will magically fix itself and we'll all be playing it at 120 frames per second and we'll all get free CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk themed hoodies or something in the mail for our trouble. I don't know. Never know what can happen next week. But make sure to tune in.
Nice.
Really would, wouldn't it? So make sure to tune in to us next week, of course, to see if that happens and more. Follow us, of course, here. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're following us on Facebook, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button on there so you see when we do go live. Of course, if you do subscribe to us, hit that notification bell on YouTube and you will immediately be notified when we go live too. Again, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We will catch you all next week.
Haters.